Hello and good evening, everybody, and welcome to a slightly belated start to the stream here. We're here for some The Racing Club action. It's Season 1, Round 8, and we're at Interlagos, which won out against Portimao, and which I personally voted for, and some other irrelevant track that no one cared about. I am QVR Killer, to take you through proceedings as not always, but most of the time. And joining me is my esteemed colleague, Mr. What's your name again? Old School 3000. There we go. We're both a bit under the weather. He's feeling rough. I am very rough. But we'll stagger through it. We're here for format B. It would be full qualifying, but it's not. It's short and a mandatory two-stop. And maybe, hopefully, some weather for the race as well, Mark.
100%, which is not what we're doing. We're doing 50. But it will be, bear with us. You're very ill, and I'm just extremely tired because, like this lot, I've done a half marathon today, which is what they're doing. They're doing half a race, so I'm absolutely battered.
Congratulations! Get your feet in a tub of soapy hot water. I think the word for me is nasally. I've neglected to mention we're actually on board with a lap right now. It's RJW Videos. He's going round. I can't tell you how it's really going because we weren't on TCAM to start with. Although a car looked a little heavy and laboured a little bit there through the hairpin and again through that corner whose name escapes me. I should have a track map up. I'm afraid to say I don't, but it's going to be our first effort of the evening, and Wes is going to pop the Alfa Romeo driver. It's the 1082. I don't think that's particularly quick. We've got another time on the board. Yeah, we got Campbell with the 107.9 there.
Yeah, it's not very friendly for no ABS users in Sector 2, so everyone says. So it's going to be pretty tough for anyone that is using no assists or just the line, because Sector 2 is lots of moving braking zones.
Self-respecting people, we call those, unlike shameless scoundrels such as myself and NSX Montana, who use ABS. We've got Ben JS coming across the line now. Where's that going to pop him? P2, 1081. RJW Videos is in third. The Car Mentalist, who's had a very productive evening yesterday, is in P4. QVR Verstappen is in fifth, and Rocco's had a bit of a shocker on his first lap. He's in P7, but look at Wouter there, our championship leader, I think. Reminds me to check the standings with 107.8, second man into the 107s.
Yeah, Pease was the wrong way round on his lap, so he's not going to do much, as was Bree. Luke comes over the line. 8.01. I thought I'd see a lot more times in the sevens. I'm sure that will come, but it seems a bit laboured out there. Obviously, not too much practice being gone on, as is the nature of this league. They only found out, confirmed at 5 we were doing it. So
yeah, well, we've got Pease about to finish a lap. He's made a mistake somewhere. He's had a spin because he's coming straight to the pits and he's on a 1 minute 18, and we're nowhere near the line. I'll take this liberty to... Oh, he's going to go for another lap. To go through the standing. Wouter has 135 points. Pease has 127. Campbell 98. J-Con 95. Rocco 75. Carmentalist 73. Neo 70. Verstappen 61. Bree 52. Gary 51. He's not here this evening. Packer 45. Also not with us this evening. Nuthon 45. Also, oh no, he is here. Brendan on 22, RJW Videos on 22, Benjess on 21, Slash on 16, Dan on 12, The Matter has 10, Luke 05HD, my best friend in League of Europe, has 6, QVR Dylan has 5, Yes has 2, Miami yet to score, that's the only non-score who is attending this evening. So it is very much a championship fight between the two Ferraris, and one of them's doing a lot better than the other right now.
Yeah, indeed, and we've got Pease coming around. He's kind of gone through the whole of his battery, so this isn't going to be the quickest. But he is going to get in the 108s, I think, and probably go around Rocco or something. Oh no, even quicker. Right.
108.2. There's a nice little gap there between Bree and Rocco. Rocco's not been much of a... He's not been a particularly pacey sausage this game, has he? All the way along. Luke in P5, just got very wide there. Out of turn 3, might have had a spin. I'm not too sure. I think he's the first man starting his next lap, or he was, until he binned it there, where there was... this is my nerdy knowledge coming into play. I've done no research for this race. Pease has binned it at turn 6 there. The 2003 Brazilian Grand Prix, there was a river across the track in turn 3. About 5 cars died there. Michael Schumacher amongst them. That was his first retirement since, I think, Hockenheim 2001. In that race, he didn't retire again until Monaco 2004 when he crashed with Juan Pablo Montoya in the tunnel. Juan Pablo Montoya, incidentally, who won the Brazilian Grand Prix, Williams' only win of the 2004 season. There you go, it's all connected, isn't it? I watched the 2004 season review DVD far too much. Who's going to be first to start the next lap? It's Verstappen? No, it's Ben JS. Ben JS is going to be the next one to start a lap. Because we've not done it yet, shall we go through a lap? We've got some yellow flags blinking for Pease coming into the pits. Here we go, barrelling towards turn 1, uphill, it's unsighted, you can't spot your braking zone too early, you want to hook the car in very late to stay wide. Slash goes fast as 107.6, that's a big lap from Slash. Cut 2 as much as you can, ride it through 3, stick to the left hand side to shorten the corner. It's not as much of an issue in real life as it is putting load through the tyre. Turn 4, a little bit late on the turn in there for Ben JS, but he kept it tidy on exit 5 is a non-corner, and then down, stay in 7th gear, or don't if you're Ben JS, flick it into 6th gear through the right-hander of Ferradura, or is that what Indiana Jones wears? I'm not sure. Struggle with the traction a little bit on the exit there, bring it to the outside of the track, hook it in, take a high line, straighten the car nice and early, bring it to the left hand side for Jun Chao. Easy to understeer a little bit through there through the race, you won't have to lift off. Last corner, tricky braking zone, easy to use the curb too much or not enough. That looked nice from Ben JS. It's going to be a blast to the line, and I wasn't paying attention to the lap data, so I've got no idea if he's improving, but it looks like a good lap. Where's he going to go? He does improve by almost a tenth to P4, 3/1000ths quicker than Jacob.
Yeah, Jung Sao means junction.
Oh, sorry, look at RJW videos.
Oh dear.
He got beach on a curb and then did a naughty reset to track. Sorry to interrupt your fascinating Portuguese knowledge there.
Yeah, which I think it's because it's the junction between the where the old track meets the new track. So the old track used to run the other way round. Out of turn 1 it used to kind of go around and then rejoin. It's fascinating. If you ever look at the old map, I highly recommend it. Very nerdy, but it's pretty cool.
I think the old Interlagos possibly quite had the most gargantuan infield section. It could be called an infield section of any racing track anywhere in the world. I think Wout had a spin on his lap. Carl Mentelis has also had a poor lap, a 120.2 for Carl Mentelis there. So still a few drivers in need of good laps. Miami is on an in-lap. I think he's found a couple of tenths. Although not Campbell, Jay Cole is just shot up by nearly 2 tenths. He's up onto a 107.8 and he's into P3, keeping Wouter very close company there in the fight for the front row. Wouter has come immediately back into the pit lane, and I'm just having a look at Norris's group. I think Carl Mentelis has gone for another lap. Hopefully he doesn't make any mistakes that might block a good time there as Pease comes towards the line. And that's a 108.2 for Ariel Pease.
Bree, oh, Noof, missed that. I've always called him Knoof, but I think that's wrong. But Noof.
Silent K, like night.
Ah.
I don't know, I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Oh, I might watch Dark Knight Rises later.
You don't want to watch The Dark Knight Rises, you've got to watch The Dark Knight, that's the better one.
Yeah. Do you know, I'm feeling this, as is Bree. He's feeling himself as he's 3 tenths up, as he's going to be looking like he's going to put himself in maybe a little J. Cole and Ben sandwich. Maybe a Ben and Jay's ice cream sandwich here. I was right.
I'll be honest, I was trying to get the stream in the chat, so I was watching Nuth's in-lap for the entirety of the time you were talking there. But any reference to BJ's gets me excited as Peas goes into P4 with a 107.778, and our 107 club is getting quite sizable now. And we've got a few drivers there. The battle for P2 is a nice, tasty little one. Luke's on a lap coming through the middle sector, and let's see where this is going to put my favourite LOE driver as he comes round Junchao, the junction probably. James Head would know, and he's up by a quarter of a second through the middle sector. He's going to Luke into the 107s here, and let's see, it's an impossible sector to mess up really. In sector 3 there's just one corner, it's a bit like Baku. He still managed to lose some time there though, but does manage a 107.962. Actually the 107 puts him in P7, and that is incredible wordplay in my commentary.
It's always very tight here, but there seems to be a top 9 that have emerged, with the rest of them struggling a bit. Some names in there you wouldn't necessarily think would be struggling. Yeah, Car Mentalist and Rocco, and Verstappen in particular, I think.
Well, yeah, we're well, I don't know. It depends really. I think you'll get some people here who'll fancy a good crack at a good result and they'll practice once the track comes out. You get some people who will not bother and they won't touch the game. Nuth improves by 2/3 of a tenth, and finds 107.529. Extends his gap to nearly a full tenth over Slash. Anyone else improving? QVR Ben JS has done a decent first sector. I told myself, like, when I pressed broadcast, I was going to pretend I wasn't ill, be full of life, vivacity and beautiful commentary, but it's not manifesting, I have to say. There's an Aston Martin, that's Nuth going very slowly out on the exit of turn 5, just letting that's Car Mentalist and RJ through. Here comes Ben JS though to the line, and is it a 7? It is a 7, it's a 7.907, and again, once aptly, the 107 puts the man into P7.
Yeah, he can't get away from Jacob, can he? He's there. It's just a question of whether we can get the sandwich back. But yeah, looking like a top 9 still, isn't it? Where's RJ? RJ must be coming round. He's coming round on an outlap, as is Car Mentalist. So these guys will be trying to push into that top 9.
They are indeed. And where is RJ going to go through the first sector? There's an odd line going through the middle of the straight there. So we see a little bit of the short draw distance on this game coming into play with the shadows there. It was a nice first sector from RJ, and he's looking like he's on a good lap. So Car Mentalist behind though. Someone you mentioned was underperforming so far in the session, in need of a big lap, and that shows me for cutting away from RJ, because RJ has died at Indiana Jones's hat there, and it's Car Mentalist instead, who we're going to follow through for the rest of this lap. Hairpin to come. Do they abuse the curb? No, no, sweet. As do you like, kissing the apex from Car Mentalist. The rear kicks out a little bit on the exit, and then again a big snap there. The rear snapped on him like Thanos, if I can quote myself. What I was proud of, that D1 line I used in LOE yesterday, and at Car Mentalist. Well, that's another lap time in the bin, and Car Mentalist leads back to the pits.
Thought he's going to get in the way of Campbell?
Oh, Verstappen had a big moment there on his lap. He ran very wide at Junchao, and he Well, he's still valid, but I'll be surprised if he's still got the 600s in hand that he did, and he's coming straight. No, he's not coming into the pits. He's going to finish the lap despite his track limit exploits, and his lap was so bad, he still managed to improve by a quarter of a second. Car Mentalist retires in the pit lane. No more laps for them this evening, as everyone's now coming out for their final runs. Campbell has bailed on this. I think he made a mistake at turn 4. Slash is now starting, I want to say. 4th gear through turn 1. That's not I wouldn't be doing that. Also Luke through the first sector. Too late, just missed it. Let's see a Slash through sector 1, and he's not improving.
No, it's going to be a bit of a build-up here for the last kind of run. Might give people 2 bites of the cherry as well, but they probably want to keep a set of softs with a 2-stop, I imagine.
I should think so. Sorry, I'm just munching on a blueberry.
Healthy, vitamin C.
Superfood to cure my ailments. Campbell crosses the line to start another lap, because that one was dog poo. Where is our improvements? Nuth is starting. Wout is improving by 700s in the first sector. I think J. Cole has just improved. I don't know, the lap data is terrible. Alfa Romeo, that's RJ, I think, has died at the end of sector 2. Luke's coming to the line, he's not going to improve. Bree's coming to start his lap, even though the game doesn't say out lap next to it. I don't think so, anyway. My timing tower is very messy. It was like this in D1 yesterday, and I've got no idea who's on a lap, who's not on a lap, because it's showing they're on a lap when they're actually on out laps. Wouter, though, through sector 2, 10th and a half up. This will put him on course for at least P3, maybe a P2, but he would have had to have a lot of time in hand through the last sector. Where's he going to go? So 107.617. He's just 9 thousandths shy of Slash. Campbell's improving as well. Campbell to the line, derating over, goes P2 at 107.54. P's up by 0.2 of a second as well, a 51.0 through the middle sector. The times are tumbling up top. Nuth dips into the 107.4s there. He's certainly got pole position, but where's P's going to go? The man who's second in the championship, can he edge out his teammate here? And it is a 107.549. He does, he goes P3. He's got Slash between himself and Wouter. Ben Jess is not going to improve, Bree is not going to improve, and Verstappen is ghosted. So that is qualifying here in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, that is... I don't know, it's interesting. The top 5 is probably as you'd predict. Verstappen definitely lower. Not enjoying the lack of sweat, I suspect, but Miami is going to be... I'm on Team Miami. Hopefully he can get a little bit of some safety car magic, which I didn't get yesterday, sadly.
Safety car magic could have done me the world of good yesterday as well, and as it was, safety cars ruined my race. Thank you, IRT Darry. As the principal beneficiary. As was AJ Wuhan. Actually, no, AJ Wuhan was just way too quick. Anyway, enough of me debriefing my leadership performance. We've got a grid for our mandatory 2-stop race, and it is FVR Nuth on pole position by 46 1,000ths of a second from the Scott QVR. Campbell in the Mercedes. P's and Slash fill out the third row. Verstappen, not Verstappen, why on earth should I just go and say Verstappen? Wouter is in P5, J. Cole is 6th, Ben Jess is 7th, Luke 05 HD is in 8th, Rocco and Bree occupy row 5, filling in behind them is RJ Videos ahead of Car Mentalist. Car Mentalist has Verstappen and Miami just behind, and that is your grid for this evening. The entire field covered by a second, 9/10 of a second, barring poor old little Miami there at the back, but he's doing his best, bless him. And we've got a race to come. Would you start, Mark, on the hards, the softs, or the mediums? Because they're all fair game with a 2-stopper.
If I'm really slow, like Miami, no offence, I'd start on the softs.
I don't think he'd take any offence at that.
There's 2 stops. Oh, it's a two-stop. You get one set of mediums, don't you? I'm an out of date. I'm an out of date man. Yeah, though I probably would do that then because. Oh, I don't. I genuinely, I'm but softs or hards, not mediums. I wouldn't start on mediums. You want them You want them at the end, ideally.
I look forward to having put the tyre graphic up and everyone's starting on mediums. That would be quite funny. Look at those workmen there diligently watching over the pit lane in their orange boiler suits with their white fluorescent tape. The true unsung heroes of F122 there with their very limited animation set. Looking at those Aramco advertising, God save Saudi Arabia. Am I right?
They look like some shoe zone specials as well that they're wearing. So thoughts out to
Oh yes, they look a bit like sort of pumps, but the kind of like 10 quid pumps you get in the Primark. You could happily dupe a 3-year-old into thinking they're Converse, probably. We'll just draw a star on with a Sharpie or something. Other brands of permanent marker are available. Tyre strategies. We have a mix. RJW Videos and Car Mentalist are on hards. Verstappen is on softs. Rocco, Luke, Ben JS, Wouter, and our top 3, Pease, Campbell and Nuke, all on softs. And then interspersed, sprinkled with a dash of medium, a dash of medium, more like a slash of medium, because it's slash J. Cole, Brie, and Miami on the medium tyre. And the thing that stands out for that is RJ and Car Mentalist might have a difficult opening couple of laps, shall we say.
Yeah, but I like it. I'm sure Car Mentalist listened to me. I'm sure he took my advice on. He's very much. You're pretty happy being at the back here. There is a lot of trains. If you're going to be on the hards, you can probably stay. The only problem is if Verstappen makes light work of them, Miami isn't necessarily going to have the pace to get past and stay with those ahead of him. So then the first few laps will be quite pivotal for them. As long as they don't drop out of DRS and get marooned at the back, I think it's a nice strat. I'm guessing soft medium is. I don't know anymore though. Actually, I haven't done the strat. Is soft medium feasibly possible here?
Well, it's a 2-stop, isn't it? So it'll be soft, medium, soft, or soft, medium, hard.
That's what I mean. If you start on the hards, if you can do it, and there's an earlier
Old Noose disqualified. He's going to start back in his grid spot. That hands a touch of advantage there to Campbell. Let's get rid of this gumph on the screen. Apparently Luke's on pole position. Good to know. There we go. So it's an uphill climb towards turn 1. It's Nuth on the left on pole, Campbell on the right. We've got an indeterminate number of lights on, but they're off now. And what a cracking start that was for Campbell and for Pease in P3. Nuth's been mugged off the side. Campbell takes the lead. Pease takes P2, and Nuth has to defend from Wouter there. It's Ben Jess and Slasher going at it through turn 2, and look at Wouter now. He's got a tremendous run on the back of Noose towards turn 4. He's pulling out of the slipstream. Can he outbrake the Aston Martin? No, he concedes the place for now, but Noose looking a little bit sketchy in the opening phase. Luke and J. Cole side by side through turn 5, and it's the medium shod Haas that has the inside line for Indiana Jones's hat here as they come round turn 6, and J. Cole is ahead into P7. Luke tries to spy his way up the inside. Turn 7, don't do that, mate. You'll get spun round, as you know all too well. And Nuth is struggling still here through the middle sector. Wouter a lot closer to the back of him than he is to the back of Pease, and that was a Red Bull. That was Miami up the inside of Brie into the hairpin that I don't know the name of. And we come through Junchao, and Brie's back at it there. And he's back into P12, and Miami does well to keep RJ behind him. RJ on the hards has had a shocker of a first lap as they pound round across the start-finish line. And after one lap mark, it's Campbell who leads from Pease, and our pole sitter has dropped to P3.
Brie is going to be absolutely furious. Verstappen seemed to go off track when he got overtaken, and then people just seem to follow through on him. So he's not going to be too happy, but keep an eye on Slash's gap. Slash, it's pivotal. He stays in this train, and I think he knows it because he's using some of a hell of a lot of his battery.
no one in the race after one lap is where they started, which is fun to note. One gain for the top two down for Nuth. Wouter is up one, Slash is down one, they've swapped, as have Ben JS and J. Cole, they've swapped. Rocco and Luke have swapped. Verstappen's up 3, Carmelis up 1, Free down 2, and Miami up 1. RJ has sunk, as we said. Currently, though, Ben JS is having a tricky time of it with J. Cole behind him, or he was. J. Cole was looking very close to the back of that Williams car, and you mentioned Slash. He has got to be careful indeed, because look at us using ERS down the straight. He's currently the break in the chain as we're about to hit DRS range. Fastest lap for Campbell. His lead stands at 4.5 tenths after the second lap of this race, and Verstappen passing Luke there around the outside as he into turn 1, just ahead by the braking zone. Nicely done. Slash did get DRS in the end. You can see the DRS detection line there, right in the middle of turn 2. Have we got anything else going on here? I don't think so. I mean, we are in an unbroken train from all 14 drivers, so everyone's advantage is neutralised a little bit there. We're waiting on Slash and Miami, I think, are the biggest risks right now, and if Miami drops out of DRS, that's going to ruin RJ's race no end. But for now, Ben JS actually is our break now. He's a second behind Slash, and that's surprising because Ben JS is on the soft tyre, Slash is on the medium.
Yes, I did think when Verstappen got past Luke kind of let him through, and it might be a bit of a problem for Car Mentalist, and it's proving to be so. He's lost half a second on this lap. Luke's going to be able to have that DRS with the softs, and he's going to get dragged along by Verstappen, whereas Verstappen was getting held up by Luke. So I think this will be a break in the train in a lap or two, but Car Mentalist does like to use some pretty intense wings sometimes, so that might get him out of jail.
We shall see. Miami is very much out of DRS, as is Slash. Ben JS has held on. Pease looks like he's just taking stock a little bit in P2, not too inclined to challenge Campbell in the short term. We'll see how it is in the long term. We've got very much a top 4 battle for the win on our hands right now, because Slash can't really keep with the pace of the soft runners ahead of him. All of the top 4 on soft, Slash the first on the counter strategy as it is, but I'm sure we'll see those soft runners pit in just a few laps time, around lap 7 or 8. We'll see how that goes. J. Cole continues to be the man most likely, I think, to make a move right now behind Ben JS, which is, as I said, a bit counterintuitive because Ben JS is on the soft, J. Cole on the medium, although as I just said, that soft advantage will quickly start to diminish. I say that. Oh, and Verstappen has passed Rocco there on the exit of the last corner.
Yeah, J. Cole has DRS, he's not really using, so he needs to be careful because he doesn't want to get stuck behind Ben and then find himself out of DRS to Slash. So this is pivotal. He probably needs to get this done here. He doesn't think so though.
Nuth has made some kind of mistake because he went down the straight. That's Cena de Largo. He was 9 tenths behind Pease, and Wouter was a tenth behind him. So I think Wouter had a very scruffy turn 2 or 3 there as Ben gets a little bit out of shape as they come towards Indiana Jones's hat. J. Cole not in a position to make a move on this occasion, but he really is hustling that Williams around. Ben JS not looking particularly a happy bunny. Perhaps his pit stop, he should nip into the pause menu and turn ABS on. Sadly, he can't because ABS is banned. That's unfortunate. I should never have said that, but it looks like J. Cole's going to make a move this lap because Ben JS has really fallen away from Slash. And Slash, actually, now those mediums going off, softs going off, is really reeling in our leaders.
Yeah, so this could be the saving grace for J. Cole. He should be able to get... Well, Ben's in. Ben's had enough of them. And what might happen is Slash will... Oh
dear. Wow. Speeding penalty for Ben. That's a way to kill a race in an instant, isn't it? How much do you gain back by being aggressive on the brakes? At most a couple of tenths. And you lose 5 seconds for your troubles. It's not really a calculation worth consideration, to be honest, if you ask me. Slash has fallen back out of a second of Wouter, and all those guys, Slash, J. Cole, by virtue of the fact of Ben JS's pit stop, breaking up that group, and Verstappen, who's now 6 places from the back row of the grid, are all sort of running fairly lonely races for now. And as we get towards the pit stops, I wonder if this is the moment Pease will start thinking about a move on the back of Campbell, because otherwise he's going to be stuck behind him for the second stint as well.
What's funny is Campbell has got a lot of battery used out of the last corner.
Newton.
This will be... What's really interesting about this is that you're going to get in a lot of fresh air with this two-stop situation. I think Nuth could, if he puts the mediums on, which I'm sure he will do, end up in a... Well, he's put another set of softs on. Fascinating.
I reckon he'll go to around... Well, he'll go to around like 14 or 15, won't he? But then he'll put the hards on to the end, I think, from there. Unless mediums might be able to do 22 laps. I doubt it, though, to be honest with you. But we'll put gap to leader on and see where he shakes out from there. He's 19.2 seconds off the lead. All he's got to do is beat Campbell's pace. If he's quicker than Campbell, he'll be quicker than Pease, of course, because they're all running line astern. Slash has had a mistake somewhere, because he was within Wouters' DRS. He's now 1.4 behind. So Ben Jess is really not happy. Not Ben Jess. Verstappen not really happy. I think at the front of this train, those softs are struggling a little bit for him. Luckily, he's got Rocco, Luke, and Car Mentalist behind, but he's not really pulling away, is he? He's coming into the pits. In fact, Rocco's coming into the pits. Luke continues on with Car Mentalist, now set to be freed on those hard tyres.
Yeah, he's going to be in a bit of a difficult spot now, though, because I think Luke will end up holding him up. So this is quite important, and he knows it's quite important. He'll Luke defend the inside, which he's pretending to do. Carmental stays behind him. It's going to cost Carmental time at this point.
Yeah, Car Mentalist needs to get a move done quickly, otherwise the strategy could come unstuck a little bit. Although the benefit of being on the hard is Car Mentalist can sort of wait for a safety car to make that first stop if one is at all forthcoming, and has the benefit of knowing they've got the worst tyre out of the way early on, and can put some quicker tyres on later in the race, whereas people who are on the softs now will have to use at least the mediums later on, as in theory a slower tyre than the softs. So there's a pace advantage for Car Mentalist in this race, yet the two Ferraris are very close together. They're all coming into pits. Note, they're all continuing round. They're happy with their DRS. Let's go back to Car Mentalist on the back of Luke. Is Luke going to come in? Luke is going to come in. So Car Mentalist is freed, has some DRS, but can we get the right car, please? Brie is now free to challenge Car Mentalist here for P6, and Brie looks the quicker of the pair. He was very close to the back of Car Mentalist into turn 1. He's got a good run out of 2 through 3. He's going to have DRS where Car Mentalist isn't now, and Brie could find himself in P6. Yeah, pulls out spot his braking point, not close enough. Car Mentalist drifts a shade deep there into turn 4, and Brie, it feels like once again, as it was for Car Mentalist behind Luke, matter of time now until Brie moves that Mercedes up another place.
I think what this is telling us is the mediums seem to be the race tyre, because you'd think they'd drop some performance at this point, but they haven't yet. So this could be.
Oh, we've got an attempted overtake here, sorry, from Verstappen on Luke into Indiana Jones's hat. That's bold if that can come off, but I think he's made it work. He's through into P13 on the fresher hard tyres. Luke's just come out of the pits, of course, which means he's on cold tyres, which would have lost a lot of downforce. Grip, sorry. Pease into the pit lane. What's he going to go on from softs? He's going to switch to another set of softs as Nuth did. And let's see where Nuth is going to be in relation to these guys. As Nuth is making his own overtake here on Miami 4S, round the outside into turn 1. He's ahead into the braking zone. Nuth takes P8. But where is Pease going to be? Pease is going to be well behind Nuth here. Nuth's soft tyres, perhaps as you might expect, so we shouldn't be too surprised. Giving him a monumental advantage. He'll be miles ahead of Pease there. And it is, what's that gap? It's over 4.5 seconds between Nuth and Pease.
Yeah, it's interesting. That move onto the softs has really made this race quite intriguing, because no one can really at the front pack put the hards on now. unless they're really willing to give up a lot of time. So very kind of a front generalship there to really mess with people's brains a bit. So I think people have made a good decision staying out as well.
Campbell in, Wouter in, Slash continues, and we'll see what pace he can manage on the mediums. J. Cole, don't count him out of this race as well. He's in a good spot. Not too far off the back of Slash, who himself caught up to Wouter in the closing stages of that stint. We'll see. We've got a yellow flag. That is Luke has spun at Jun Chao. Luckily, I had nothing to do with it on this occasion. And Bree, car mentalist, resume hostilities. Bree couldn't get past into turn 1. Thank you for that amazing camera angle, Codemasters. Exactly what I wanted to see as we come towards turn 4. So, car mentalist surviving, holding off Bree nicely, and I suspect, as you speculated earlier on, may have something to do with the downforce level that car mentalist is running. And Wouter and Campbell, what happened there?
Yeah, just a great committed move on the inside. Campbell had to bail out, and Wouter has got ahead of Campbell. But Campbell won't mind too much. I think he's probably thinking, I'm not going to fight you because we need to catch Peas. So he's going to try for he's trying for all his might to stay with him on these mediums. Not going to be easy though with the warm-up phase.
It's not going to be easy at all. I'm intrigued as to where the relative pace of Nooth and Peas is going to be at, because what is the tyre life difference? 3 laps, that's quite substantial on the hard tyre between Peas and Nooth, and it's 4 laps for for Wouter and Nooth. And speaking of Nooth, here he is, round the outside of RJ. RJ on hard tyres, he started the race on, running nicely in 5th place, temporarily at least. Now demoted to 6th, he's going about his business quietly. Car mentalist and Bree, still as you were. Bree doesn't have the straight line speed really, I think, to challenge car mentalist in this race so far. Meanwhile, J. Cole, who I said was quietly making moves as Peas passes Miami there into turn 4. J. Cole is really reeling Slash in at quite a substantial rate here, and he's going to have DRS the end of this lap.
Yeah, keeping a nice gap to car mentalist too. That's going to be the gap to look at over the next few laps to see if car mentalist can reel it in, because his tyres should at some point come into their own. And also he's keeping Bree behind fairly comfortably now, so they might well be in their window.
If you're going to go soft, the softs we know do about 8 respectable laps. Beyond that, you're pushing your luck a bit, and that means you get 16 laps out of the soft tyres. Wouter now passes Miami as well, who's coming into the pit lane. So really, you've got to be able to get 20 laps out of the mediums. So Slash and J. Cole are kind of set in now for the next 7 or 8 laps of this race. They are going to go soft, unless they fancy pitting early onto some hards and then having a crack at the softs a little later in the race. But I don't see why you would go onto hard at this point. I think the plan is very much medium and 1 set of mediums and 2 softs for everybody, apart from those who have pitted onto the hards, which the deeper we go into this race, the more confused I am, especially when we saw how much Nooth was able to undercut Campbell, Peas and Wouter by. It makes you feel like, the advantage the softs give you, even in short term, is just way too much to make it even think about using the hards.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that Nooth didn't suffer compared to the others, because he came in so early. He was behind the whole train, whereas Peas and Wouter had to really use some of the goodness of their softs going through some of the back markers, which Campbell will be very pleased about, because he's obviously on the more durable tyres. So I think I'd probably argue that in some ways Campbell is in the next second here behind Nooth.
I'm too scared to make that kind of call. I'll leave that one for you. I think it's going to be difficult, because Peas and Wouter will obviously pit earlier for their second stop than Campbell will, because they're going on to mediums. Campbell will be going on to softs. So they'll be pitting earlier, which means they can extend their lead over Campbell by another couple of seconds. And you've got to think, can Campbell reel that in, make those overtakes, and then build up a gap before his softs go off at the end of the race? I don't know, it's a tricky one. I think he's probably just about in a better position right now, but it's very hard to tell. And so what they need to do, they need to clear RJ, all of them, immediately, because Noof is 3.7 seconds up the road from these guys right now. What I hope we have in P's is he's derating. We've got a spinner. That is, as RJ comes into the pits, that is Rocco Reggie for real. Has spun Chen Chow. And in fact, RJ managed to save P's here from the clutches of his teammate and championship leader Ariel Wout, who was looking very like he was sizing up his teammate into the back or into turn 1. He's running quite close through Cena de Largo. Yeah, Campbell's looking good in all this, isn't he? Because he's got, unlike the other two ahead of him, you can see the red lights blinking away like Christmas. Campbell has a fractional ERS advantage. He's going to have a tyre advantage quite quickly. Car mentalist Verstappen and Rocco, I'll interrupt myself there, are having a bit of a ding-dong at turn 4, and is that Rocco having a look at car mentalist up the inside of Indiana Jones's hat, and that would be masterful if Rocco can pull it off, and indeed he can. He's up into P10. Car mentalist demoted 2 places in 3 corners. Can he find a challenge? Sorry, can they find a challenge back towards Seppin? Is it going to be a cheeky send up the inside? No, it's not, but car mentalist was running in 9th place, suddenly finds themselves down in 11th, and with a penalty to boot as well. It's not been a particularly productive race. I don't think those mediums have worked. And Wouter has passed Pease into turn 1 as he's and Ferrari's side by side. Switches the inside turn 2 for Wouter. Wouter resumes the position. Rocco and Car Mentalist have swapped places yet again, and but I'm going to go back to Pease, because look at Pease around the outside of turn 4 here. The 2 Ferraris once again, as Pease got space on the outside, just about he has to back out low. Meanwhile, Rocco and Car Mentalist are going to follow them in tandem towards turn 4. Car Mentalist is through. Luke spun at turn 3 as well, and Rocco nearly tapping the back of the AlphaTauri there, who themselves is flying towards Verstappen as we approach Indiana Jones's hat. Another yellow flag for Luke. Is Car Mentalist going to fancy a little send up the inside of the hairpin there?
Round.
And Rocco is round on the exit of Indiana Jones's hat, and easy place to drop it. But that was a lap of some action. That was.
Oh, he's round again. I was going to compliment him on only losing about 2 seconds in that spin. Oh, he might get side pod damage there. He's gone into the wall, but that was, I tell you what, that was some absolute street fighting. He kind of knocked into Carmen.
And he's died again. He died again.
There's all sorts going on.
Pease passed by Campbell. J. Cole passes Slash. Sorry, we were watching Rocco spin. J. Cole takes the lead in this race. Campbell takes a net P3 in this race, passing Pease. Car Mentalist and Verstappen now, side by side, through turns 1 and 2, and the Car Mentalist trying to get that place back. Recover P9. Got a tremendous exit of 3. Verstappen squeezing right to the inside. Car Mentalist is going to have such a tight angle through turn 4, but is ahead just about. No traction on the exit there for Verstappen to fight back. Rocco has spun for the 4th time. At the last corner, Verstappen pulling out to have a look again into turn 6. Not forthcoming though. And Car Mentalist stakes their claim on P9 as Rocco retires in the pit lane, and I'm sure he's going to go watch NFL Red Zone or something. Meanwhile, in our battle for P2, look at Campbell, 4 tenths per second behind Wouter, deploying some ERS as well. That Ferrari red light is blinking, it's vulnerable. Lucas spun in the middle sector at Indiana Jones's hat, but here comes Campbell for P2. The net P2 in this race as Bree and Nuth are into the pits. Nuth for the 2nd time, and Campbell is through into P2 for the 2nd time in this race. A net P2 as Slash and J. Cole continue to lead out in front by 11.5 seconds. Is Wouter going to fight this one back into turn 4? Not quite close enough. Yellow flag just Rocco exiting the pit lane there. Bree's gone into softs. Nuth is on to mediums now. He's running to the end of the race, so watch that space. Well, lots of things happened there.
Well, this is fantastic because Bree is now on these softs, Nuth on the mediums, Verstappen on hards, and Car Mentalist on fairly, well, not old at all, but they've got some life, they've got some wear in them, his medium. So Bree should be able to pull away initially from Nuth, and of course the two ahead a bit of a hassle.
J. Cole and Slash into the pits, so they're going to go 9 laps on softs, 9 laps on softs. I think for the second half of this race. Is Campbell okay? Campbell is okay. He's well clear of Wouter on this lap. Pease is just getting dropped a little bit though from his teammate, and if he's not careful, he'll be outside of some DRS. It is soft tyres for each of what were our race leaders. They're going to come out very close actually to Ben JS, who I think is going to be just ahead of them. That's not what they need. They don't need traffic as they're coming out on some fresh softs. They want to maximise those tyres while they can, but they're going to have to clear Ben JS first. So we'll see how that one goes. FBR Nuth, 16.8 seconds off the lead. In need of... He doesn't need to stop again. Everyone else needs to stop one more time. So this is going to be tight, I think, where this race is going to go. It's not the longest pit lane in terms of time loss. So Nuth has got about a 4 or 5 second advantage over Campbell right now. He's 16.5 seconds off the lead. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Behind them, we've got Verstappen, Brie and Nuth. This is not what Nuth needs, to be caught behind, as you alluded to a few moments ago, Mark, a hard runner. And these can't get past Verstappen until Brie gets past Verstappen. Then when Brie gets past, Nuth's got to get past Brie. So he's losing time here as Pease comes into the pit lane, and J. Cole does get past Ben JS as he needed to.
Well, he's using here, I think he knows he's got to get past Verstappen. His nightmare is if Brie gets past Verstappen, and Verstappen, he doesn't get past him himself, which has basically come to fruition here, because he's, well, he could get the run. He should be fine. He should be able to get the run into turn 4. Yeah, he's going to be fine. So, worked out quite nicely for him, actually. And Verstappen's not keen on giving him any kind of a quarter at all, which is fair enough. Safety car and he's back into it, but yeah, this has worked out nicely for Nuth now.
It has. He's through into 8th, and he doesn't need to worry too much about Brie, because Brie is on fresh soft tyres. Cause penalty for RJW Videos down in P10 right now, 20 seconds off the lead. So now Pease go into the end, Nuth go to the end. Pease is 5 seconds exactly off the back of Nuth, and Pease on the medium tyres that are a couple of laps quicker, so a couple of laps fresher. Wouter into the pit lane now. He's going to go onto the mediums as well. Campbell continues round. I'm intrigued why Campbell didn't just try and cover off Pease as much as he could. He can create a tyre offset all he likes, but if you don't have track position, it becomes very tricky. Last lap of the race from J. Cole. There, a 109.3, and he's having a barnstorming race. So he's not really seen him too much in the contention for the lead. He's 6.3 seconds behind Campbell, and he's going soft. He's the quickest man on track. Don't count J. Cole out of this race, particularly should a penalty befall the front two. RJ passes Wouter. Or RJ and Wouter are going back. Oh no, the two Ferraris have crashed there at turn 5.
And Pease got damage on the back of Wouter. These two are absolutely wrecked, I think. If Pease doesn't have damage, I'll be absolutely shocked. He planted into the back of Wouter.
Well, there's nothing visible, but that is a huge loss. They're 2 seconds behind RJ. They've lost that time at least. If Campbell saw that on his minimap, he needs to come into the pit lane and cover them off, but he's not. I don't know if he saw it on his minimap, if he'd seen the two Ferraris had collided, because surely that would be an incentive to come and make your second stop, but Campbell's staying out there, and that surprises me. Verstappen is in from P8.
I tell you, a bit of a problem here is for Nuth is he is getting stuck. I mean, it's a nice problem to have, because Brie's kind of ferrying him along a little bit, but the big problem about this is that Brie is catching Carmentelis. So if he gets in that train, a little mini train with Carmentelis, it's going to make Nuth's life hard, because he's not going to be able to overtake him when those softs start to deteriorate, which is any second, you probably think.
I'm surprised at Carmentelis' strategy. It confounds me a little bit. You use mediums and hards so far. Given everyone else is going, I say everyone else, most people, the leaders have gone 1 medium, 2 softs. Carmentelis has a big slide there, coming out of turn 11, I think. Yeah, Carmentis, I don't think is maximising the tyres available to them. We've seen how good the softs are. We've seen that with Nuth not once but twice now. So it intrigues me that Carmentis has thought the soft is not a tyre to go near. Speaking of softs, J. Cole's taken another second out of Campbell since we checked in with him. Gap down to 5.1 to the leader. These guys have all got to make another stop, and for J. Cole, he's going on to another set of softs. Campbell is going on to softs as well, presumably. Yeah, dumb me. That was why Campbell didn't cover off the Ferraris crashing, because he's on medium tyres. Yeah, so that was just me being an idiot. As Nuth is going to have a look at Bree. Here is he, into turn 8. No, he's not. He's too far back this time, but he's getting frustrated. He's not catching Campbell, I think, as much as he would like. His gap is 16.1, and it was that last lap as well. So Campbell's going to come out around about, well, he's going to come out nicely, I think, probably around halfway between Nuth and RJ in that gap. The two Ferraris still behind RJ. They have caught back up to the Alfa Romeo, though. But yeah, this is frustrating, massively frustrating for Nuth.
I guess he's probably thinking his light's blinking. He can have a go into turn 4 whenever he kind of wants, as long as he gets close enough. But I'm not sure as Pease will not get past RJ. Oh, well, he's going to try. He's absolutely sent it. What a move. That's one of the best moves I've seen.
It was a shame we didn't get to see it because of tragic camera choice from the Codemasters broadcast account. Verstappen passes Miami into for 11th place, so we saw a great view of the rear end of RJ's Alfa Romeo there. So those two have been released for the second time, as it were. They're now 6.5 seconds behind Nuth. Nuth's gap has come down another couple of tenths, but look, 16.0, 15.9. It's not coming down like it needs to, and Bree's now got DRS of Car Mentalist, and Car Mentalist has got DRS off the back of Ben JS, and all of these guys will be pitting for another set of soft tyres, so they're not going to come in for another 3 or 4 laps, although Nuth is very close to the back of Bree here, using his ERS away, and is Bree going to fight this one? I think he's going to let it go, and he's forced with no choice in the end, given the lack of ERS for the Mercedes, and Nuth is up into P6, and that DRS, that slipstream usage was very helpful in closing the gap to Campbell up front. Campbell's lead has been slashed by another second. It's now 4.3 to J. Cole.
Yeah, Nuth's going to probably think these guys are coming in fairly shortly. He'll know that they've got a pit stop to do, but it's probably 1 or 2 laps away. He needs to, I think he's probably got the race in the bag, as long as he doesn't get disastrously held up here. But yeah, it's not looking. He's not going to take too many risks, but it's going to be interesting. He has a moment. He's definitely getting slightly frustrated behind the pair of these.
He is indeed, and Ben JS is at a moment there. Nuth nearly having one again, and then Car Mentalist has one. All three nearly dropping it on the run up the hill there. Ben JS, I think, is possibly coming into the pit lane. He is indeed. Car Mentalist got some ERS to hold on in the battle for P4, but isn't going to defend too hard from Nuth, who's up the inside. He slices his way into 4th place, goes a little deep on the exit, but he's through. He's gained the place he needed, and he has lost a bit of time though. He's 15.4 off the leaders. Car Mentalist going to fight this one back. We've got a yellow flag. Luke has died at turn 8. Car Mentalist has got nothing to fight Nuth with, but Nuth crucially through. He's 15.2 off the lead, and J. Cole continuing to catch Campbell. It's now 3.9.
Yeah, and he's dropping Slash. He's really dropping Slash. So I think we're about to see where everyone is in it. Oh, was Ben lost it? Yeah, he's lost it around the third corner. We're about to see how this race shakes out. Valter and Pease are going to be. I think they're going to be in trouble. I think they might not be on this podium. It could well be Campbell and J. Cole.
I think you could be right. J. Cole, he's 4 seconds off Campbell, which means he's 16 seconds behind, ahead of Wouter. That in mind, well, actually 16.5 seconds. Wouter's further behind J. Cole then Nuth is behind Campbell by about a second and a half. Now, that being the case, J. Cole's could have much fresher tyres when he comes in, which I think should be at the end of this lap. I think all three of our top three could come in at the end of this lap. He's going to cut through those Ferraris like a hot knife through butter, I should think, unless they really work well together. Although, if the past effort is anything to go by, Ferraris and Brazil, in this race and in real life, do not work well together. Here they tend to come to blows.
Yeah, Verstappen having a concentration pen there, I think, because he's completely in his own little world as it stands. So not the funnest race for him. He'll be crying about the pad, no ABS in sector 2, I suspect.
I think he will. Where is our leaders? Not coming in. Oh no, Slash is in. Slash is in. That'll be interesting, because where Slash comes out will give us a good barometer for where J. Cole will come out. J. Cole, who is still catching Campbell, although those softs have had their best moment, I think, by this point. Is onto a set of softs for Slash, and he is going to be behind Wouter and Pease, but he's not going to be massively behind them, and he needs to get out ahead of his teammate here, RJW Videos, but he's not. So the gap to the back of Pease is going to be, well, what is that? It's 6 seconds, 5.8 seconds, and J. Cole was about 3 seconds up the road. So J. Cole's going to be within 3 seconds of the Ferraris just about when he comes out the pits. I think he can overhaul that quite comfortably, I want to say.
Yeah, it's just a question of if those two can just work together. It's interesting, they're in a title fight, but they almost want to protect each other. Well, Pease will be using Wouter. Oh, we have a Merc round, that must be Brie.
We do indeed, we have a Merc round. Brie has dropped it, no damage. Once again, this race continues to evade safety cars. And we have got our top two into the pit lane now. Campbell and J. Cole both in. Campbell trundles down at 50 miles an hour towards the exit. Where is he going to count? Where are those Ferraris going to be ahead of him? Are they going to be ahead of him? They're not going to be ahead of him. Campbell is free to unleash his pursuit on Nuth. No, he's not. He's going to come out between the Ferraris. Oh, or is he going to come out behind both of them? It's going to be so tight with Campbell and with Pease. Look at Pease around the outside. He's going to have tyres up to temperature. Contact there. Traumatic memories for Campbell coming side by side with the car into turn 4 at Brazil. But he survives. He's through. And that was crucial. He now seems to stay in Wouter's DRS around the end of this lap. And then he can set off after Nuth. And where's J. Cole in all this? He's only 2.5 seconds behind. J. Cole's in a cracking position as well.
Yeah, huge, absolutely huge. And I think that Campbell, that's a race-winning situation there for him now. He's going to be able to fly past Wouter, you would think.
You'd think so into turn 1 this lap. If you are British, you should be muting us to observe a minute's silence for Her Madge Lizzie 2. We don't care, so we're not. Well, I cared enough to mention it, but it is 8 o'clock. Apparently, that's a thing that people are doing. I only say because I got a news alert telling me to shut up. You're never going to catch me doing that. Campbell is through into second place. He's dispatched both Ferraris. Well, he held off one. He dispatched the other. He's unleashed onto the back of Nuth. And he's already used up all of his ERS, though, which is a bit of a problem for when he does catch. If he does catch, indeed, that Aston Martin. He's 4.8 seconds off the lead. J. Cole, meanwhile, has taken 6/10 out of the Ferraris on the last lap alone. And that was without the DRS that Pease had and Wouter had towards turn 4. J. Cole's on a flyer as well, and Slash is even quicker than J. Cole. He's only 3.2 behind the Ferraris. I don't think we could see the Ferraris struggling to make the top 4 here, either of them.
I reckon they might hold on. Purely because of this train. But J. Cole's going to have to do it sooner rather than later.
J. Cole is indeed. I've got the NFL Red Zone on my laptop here, and they've taken a break to show me images of people being silent for the Queen. Bugger off, I want to watch the American football. Campbell 4.2, he is closing, he's gaining rapidly on Nuth. Has he got a fast lap of the race? No, he's not. Let's have a look at the fastest laps. 109.1 for Slash's fastest lap. Campbell did a 9.5, but he did have an overtake last lap to mitigate that. 9.8 for the Ferraris. 9.3 for J. Cole. They're the only people in 9. Everyone else is best laps in the 10s, bar Miami and Luke, who are in no man's land at the back of the field there in 12 and 13. So the pace is very much, the force is with the soft runners right now. And there's RJ, speaking of soft runners, he passes Ben JS into turn 1 and he's up into P9. And the hard starters, Carmentless and RJ, it's not really turned out good for them, has it? Carmentless is 3 seconds behind Verstappen, who himself is 13 seconds off our leading 6. Anyone who used the hard tyres in this race has been absolutely pooed on from a great height, shall we say.
Oh, Luke's round, a moment of silence here, but that's for an incident with Luke, not for any other nonsense. As Walter is really struggling to keep up with Campbell, and that might mean Pease, with his absolutely depleted battery, could spring a bit of a shock on Walter in the last couple of laps, but Campbell isn't catching Luke enough.
Yeah, gap 3.5, we've got 4.5 laps to go here in Interlagos. Pease is 2/10 behind his teammate. Could we see the Ferrari battle, civil war recommence? And J. Cole keeping ready to capitalise on anything that happens between those guys, because his gap stands at 0.6 of a second to the back of Pease. And I'm going back and forth in this race about which Ferrari seems to be the stronger one. To be honest, they both seem a bit terrible at the moment. Wouter 1.5 seconds behind Campbell. He's going to be very vulnerable. He's going to be vulnerable as a naked baby as they come down the pit straight here. His gap stands at half a second, and if Pease can get a good exit there, and I think he did get quite a good exit. Someone let off fireworks outside my house, celebrating the death of her man. In fact, Pease had a terrible exit. He's down by 0.7 of a second here, and in fact J. Cole is a lot closer to Pease than Pease should be to Wouter as we come into turn 1. 4 laps to go, and J. Cole looking a lot more racy on those soft tyres. A tremendous run through 2 and 3. He's only 0.3 back from Pease now. Pease has got the DRS, but J. Cole still catching as they barrel down towards turn 4.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough now. J. Cole was seemingly is aware, because he's using Urs in some spots here that he wasn't before. I think he knows it's got to be this lap or the next that he wants to get past Pease if he's got any chance of this podium.
He does indeed. He needs a penalty. None of those are happening, so he's got to do it on track. And well, he is very close, but I wonder if Wouter and Pease are working together now, and Wouter's just backing himself up a little bit into Pease to give Pease a bit more slipstream. Slipstream is only really powerful when you're within half a second or so on the game. Beyond that, it's very much a case of a lot weaker. So if Wouter just lets Pease close up a bit, he can protect Pease from J. Cole, although J. Cole's using down the straight here, or the straightaway, as the Americans say. God knows why. But nothing happening on this lap. 3 to go.
I'm obviously going mad because I thought Carmentless had a penalty, but he doesn't.
Well, I thought Carmentless had a penalty as well. I swear I said that at some point. Luke's died, Indiana Jones's hat, and is that? It's not race over.
J. Cole's going to make a move into my favourite place. Oh, this is a fantastic place to go for a move. No one ever suspects it. You can catch people napping if you get on the overtake. Didn't work. Is he going to go? Ooh, no, doesn't do the move I dislike, as we have a spin out and risk it's Luke here because he's being lapped, which is not. Ooh, that could help Campbell.
Campbell could get, indeed, some DRS off the back of Luke here if he gets a good run through the final corner. And you know what I think he might do, let's have a look there as they come across the DRS detection point, which was just through the shadow lines, and he does. He's got DRS, so he's going to catch a lot on Luke. He's going to get a second helping here if Luke stays ahead to at least the apex of turn 2, and I think he will. Luke is going to give Campbell another helping of DRS, and Campbell's gap was 1.7 seconds. I don't think it's still going to be enough to help him win this race. He needs a massive middle sector, but it's enough to make Luke a little bit nervous, I think.
So Pease is trying to harvest his Urs. He's got such a knife-edge situation because he's got J. Cole on better tyres behind him. whilst he's trying to harvest to get ahead of Wouter. So there's still a lot to play for. This could be over the line, I think.
Carmichael is through on Verstappen for 7th place, and 17.3 seconds behind Slash now. Those guys are not particularly quick today. Campbell nowhere near Nuth, so I think that is race win sorted, but it's not our podium placings sorted. J. Cole very close to the back of Pease on the exit of the final corner, using his ERS all the way down. Pease derating, J. Cole derating, DRS in effect, but Pease couldn't stay close enough to Wouter to have a challenge on his teammate, which seemed the more likely threat. I think going into this last lap, J. Cole so close to the back of Pease, and we've just got one more chance to go now, really, and everyone was nice and smooth with their exits through turns 2 and 3 and on the run towards 4. It's such a short braking zone here. You're only going from 8th to 4th or 5th. It's hard to force your way up the inside. It's not as deep as you need it to be, really, the braking zone, and that spared Wouter no end this evening from Pease, although they did come to blows there, did the two Ferraris earlier on. It's going to be Nuth, though, who's going to take victory, but we're going to stick with this battle. Who cares about a dead certain win? We're going to watch this run to the line between the two Ferraris and between J. Cole. Can Pease or J. Cole do anything, do you think? Oh no, J. Cole on the Helicam. We got a fabulous view of that. He's dropped it on the last lap. He's only lost 1 place to Slash. Had such a big gap to Car Mentalist. Didn't matter too much in the end. But here comes Nuth across the line. He's going to take his 2nd victory of the season. He won in Jeddah. He wins again in Sao Paulo. Campbell takes a comfortable 2nd place. Luke crashes across the line. It is 3rd and 4th in the end for Ferraris, but they've made hard work of it for themselves. Slash takes 5th. J. Cole takes a despondent 6th, I would imagine, after that last lap spin. Car Mentalist will be 7th. Verstappen is 8th with a penalty. RJ is going to be 9th. And then Ben JS, Brie, Miami and Luke will round out the order. Rocco, the only retiree this evening. And that was fun.
Yeah, the 2 stops are great. I think that really, really helps create some suspense, and there was some different strategies and stuff, so I was a big fan of that. It's poor J. Cole got that live in hey, Ultra HD. His awful moment there, but fair play to him for pushing for it, 'cause it didn't look likely.
Oh, you've got to give it a go. You never know, you might do a Pierre Gasly on Lewis Hamilton towards the line. Car Mentalist says, didn't know this was a no damage league. Surprised I'm able to see that message, to be honest. Let's have a look what else is being said in chat, in the Discord. Rocker says, 2 weeks in a row, are you serious? No damage again. So damage was turned off. That was why the 2 Ferraris were absolutely fine.
Yeah, because I was shocked when Pease went into the back of Wouter that didn't cause an incident. So that could have really got a feel for Slash, really. And maybe even, I mean, I don't know why Car Mentalist is worried about it, because they'd have pit and then they'd have breezed past him, I suspect. But yeah, no. Obviously, these things happen. It's not fun being a host sometimes, because it's one of those things. It's like IT support. If everything's going well, no one sees the value in you. If everything goes wrong, no one sees the value in you. So
I agree. You've got to go for it in these things, and as a host, you win some, you lose some, and when you lose some, everyone shouts at you. No one remembers all the time you do it right. Nuth wins from 1st on the grid. Campbell 2nd from 2nd on the grid. Wouter 3rd. Pease 4th. Slash takes 5th. Could have had a better race had damage been enabled, as you say. J. Cole 6th. Car Mentalist 7th. Verstappen 8th. RJ 9th. Benjay's 10th. Brie 11th. Miami 12th. Luke 13th. Rocco was our only DNF, although Luke certainly DNF'd in spirit, I want to say, in that race. And that... The fireworks are going off outside. There are fireworks for the death of the Queen where I am. Well, that was a fun race, though. Next week we've got format. One of them. It's format. I think we're back to format A. Oh no, it is format A. Format A. Back to format A. So short quality 50% race, no restrictions on strategy. Your standard league racing rules. So we will round out the stream there. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tolerating me and Mark suffering our way through it. I'm about to go sneeze and cry. It's been fun. But until next week, thank you for tuning in.